Hi guys, and welcome to this Go Roughly Around the World special about feeding and nutrition for your dog while you're traveling. We're riding around the world with our German Shepherd on the back of my motorcycle,
not in a sidecar or trailer,
to raise $100,000 for the nonprofit Girl Up. And today I wanted to talk about feeding and nutrition because something happened with Moxie a couple of weeks ago. She tweaked her back leg while we were in Baja and she was running alongside the bike in a sandy stretch. And it just really got me thinking about the importance of the things that we're carrying for her, especially the type of food we're feeding her, the supplements we're giving her, and everything that she is intaking while we're on the road, so that she stays as healthy as possible because this trip can't be done without her. Let's start with food. So your dog is probably accustomed to a certain brand of food that you feed them at home. And when you're on the road, you might not be able to find the same food as you're going along. So what we do is we've got Moxie's kibble to go bag, and this carries 17 cups of kibble. So this is about 3 to 4 days worth of food for her. And so I fill it with food that she's used to. And then when we're on the road, I do my best, as we're getting closer to the bottom here, is to look for new food. Sometimes I find the exact same brand, other times I have to find something else, and sometimes it's like...
just whatever you can find wherever you are. And that's just, I think, a reality of doing an overland trip where you might spend days and days without coming to a major city. Right?
And on a motorcycle trip, obviously space is at a premium, so it's not like you can carry along a 10 or 20 pound bag of dog food. You've got other things that you need to carry as well. So for us, 17 cups is a good amount.
Yeah, now we kind of... okay, so basically I'm just a sucker. I fed her off the table quite a bit. Her stomach is acclimated to all kinds of food. She, you could feed her nails and she would poop out a crowbar.
Well, the thing is that when we first got Moxie, the breeder that had her, they would feed them like raw bones. And that's what they would get from the butcher. It was good for their teeth as they were growing. And that's something that we have continued on through puppyhood now into adulthood, that we can always go and get her bones from the butcher. Yes, we might not feed her the best quality food when we're on the road because we can't find it, but what we do is we supplement it with her treats and the additives that we add to her food. So one of the things that some of the food might be missing if you are getting a lower grade food than what your dog is accustomed to is that it doesn't really have all of those great like omega-3s and all of the good things that keep their skin and their coat really shiny and healthy. So what we've been using is the Zesty Paws Salmon Oil, and that's just a really easy supplement that we can add to her food. It has made a huge difference. So I've been always concerned about Moxie's fur because in Guatemala, where we were living for the past 6 years, I think it's quite windy at times. She's an outdoor dog, so she's never been like the shiniest. When we go to the States and we see other pet dogs out there with their like shiny coats, I feel a little bit envious that my dog doesn't look the same. But the salmon oil has really helped make her shiny again, and I'm just and
reduce the itching, and that's not something to take for granted because particularly riding, whether it's head out of the van or the car, in this case on the motorcycle, I mean most of the time she is open air. And, that can dry the skin out. Yeah,
and the other thing that can cause that problem is if you are switching foods to the foods that they're not accustomed to, there's the possibility that there could be an allergic reaction that causes them to have drier skin and be scratchy and itchy. Another thing that we do is we get treats for her.
We call it love credit.
Yes, exactly.
And whoever actually gets to give it to her gets that love
because
credit.
She loves you more. So we were carrying from the States, we had the grubterra bully bites, which
a major
really cool.
source of love credit.
Yes, like she absolutely is in love with these things. And what they are, they're basically dehydrated beef. And we try our best to find treats that are as natural as possible, especially in the cases where we are having to feed her food that's not necessarily grain-free or natural or has all natural ingredients. So something like this is a great supplement. It's something that we can add to her food if she's not like that interested in it. We're vegetarians or mostitarians, so we don't necessarily eat meat unless it's like an emergency situation or if it's in a place where we don't want to say no.
Yeah, and that's where the beef jerky really comes in handy because it serves for all three of us, and it is sort of an emergency food because it's high calorie, high energy content in a pinch.
In terms of supplements, Moxie, she's a German Shepherd, and she's prone to hip and joint problems. She actually had a spinal stenosis surgery about a year ago, so we've always been really concerned about it. And so now, especially now that she has the limp, we're really focused. And I've always given her supplements as she's been growing up. Glucosamine and chondroitin, those are two that are very well known for helping with joints, healthy joints. And Zesty Paws, they have these mobility bites, and they've got a whole range of different things when it comes to supplements for your dog's health. But I found that these were really good because, one, that they're vet formulated, so they have a really high concentration of those key ingredients that I know are going to help Moxie. So that's really good. The other thing is that these are like chewy, so you can give them to them, you can sprinkle it on their food or give it to them whole. And for us, we end up grinding them up and we put them into one of these HydraPakTFlasks. And it just makes it really easy. So everything is sort of all in one. So she's got her food, she's got her supplement, she's got her oil, and then I've got her treats in her treat pocket.
We've also got a different version of mobility bites, and these are the HEMP mobility bites. Why do we have these in addition or above the veterinarian ones?
Yeah, Greg, you tell them.
We were just really curious if the hemp was going to set off the
sniffer dogs. Because it's got CBD oil, I believe, in it. We did see we
passed several
shepherds.
sniffer dogs,
yeah,
Malinois, and a couple of shepherds, and it didn't trigger any alarms.
No, so now you know that these are okay to use.
So Jess mentioned that we use these HydraPak SoftFlasks for carrying her additives and her supplements. And we do that ultimately because this isn't very
motorcycle friendly, packing friendly.
So the soft flasks are really intended for water. They are human grade, they're safe, they're healthy, and they work for all kinds of liquids, creams, etc. We use them for all kinds of things for us. So for her salmon oil, absolutely. Yeah,
well, the good thing about them is that as you use them, the bag gets smaller, so then it's not taking up as much space. So we've got this pocket in our kibble to go bag, and both of these just fit really nicely beside each other.
So the next thing is HydraPak for your water, okay? So this guy is super new, and this is their Flux Plus.
Yeah.
And it has an integrated filter. So that's fantastic. Look, at the end of the day, Moxie is acclimated. She used to drink from our pond with the fish swimming around.
I think you're supposed to tell people these things.
Well, look, she is an outdoor dog. She's a camp dog, and that's how camp dogs are. She's had an amazing life. And so, yeah, she can, she drinks from streams and ponds and so forth. No problem. We do not. Okay? And ultimately, I mean, the water is being shared in some sense. So we can take from the tap, from a stream, you name it, and we can simply squirt that out. Yeah. We know it's been filtered. If you have ultimately an indoor dog, then that starts to become essential. Yeah. Now for her water bowl, which she's been lapping from as we go,
there's still water
you're going to want a collapsible bowl. So this is what we use for
we have one for food and one for water. It's just really small. It doesn't take up that much space. I really like these.
Now, if you don't use the pockets for your supplements,
you can put the bowls in. Yeah. Normally, Moxie doesn't take any medication, but right now in the situation where she does have her limp and we are concerned about her back and her hips, she is taking a few medications, and so I do have them here. You can add them to your kibble bag if you don't have the supplements in the front. This is another place where you could keep them, but it's just something that I keep these types of things, these medications, normally in her first aid kit as well, just in case there's something this is an anti-inflammatory. She's also got something for her stomach so that it doesn't bother her stomach. But I've got all of these things that I have for her in her first aid kit. But the things that I'm going to use on a regular basis, like this one she's supposed to have every day, I can add it into her kibble bag. And then that's just something that I add into her food or with her treats so that she'll take it. I hope you guys have found this helpful and informative. Feeding and nutrition is essential, especially when you're traveling from country to country, or if your dog is getting a little bit older.
Or, even if the activity level has increased compared to what they're accustomed to at home, and this represents a really big change.
Yeah.
So look, stick around, keep an eye out, because we have all kinds of specials teed up about the outdoor gear that we use for Moxie, the motorcycle gear that we use for Moxie, and a whole bunch of other things around traveling and extended travel and outdoor travel with your dog.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube and at GoRUFFLY for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We'll talk to you soon.